Welcome back to the Patrick Regan Show. Listening to some music there. Jay's picking out the music today, and I can tell we're going to work well together.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, good.
He just got a general idea of what I wanted to hear, and he's been playing just great music coming back in. So,
well, I am a former music DJ, so.
Oh, there we go.
I'm trying.
You're doing very well. All right, welcome back to the Patrick Regan Show here on News Talk 98.7 WOKI and the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network. Throw that in real quick. This segment coming back, this half hour, well, this segment of the half hour, I want to talk about something that has been growing over the past couple of decades in this country. What we have in America now is almost a religion of government. This unnatural, fanatical support of anything the government does. And for anyone who preaches this doctrine of government knows best, Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, we've become a nation of political parties that have completely disregarded the original American principles and ideals that made this country great. Now, both sides have been trying to redefine these original American principles. They try to sell their followers that their side is correct, when in truth, both sides are wrong. They are two sides of the same government knows best coin. Just listen to them give speeches. The only difference in policy between Democrats and Republicans are a matter of degree. The fact government shouldn't be doing something, that's never questioned. Only how much, only how intrusive government should be. I guess that's why I'm hardest on the conservatives. They are the biggest hypocrites in this country. The liberals, okay, well, I know where they're coming from. They'll flat out tell you they want to run your life. And if you don't believe them, they'll show you if they get into power. But the conservatives preach this limited government, this rolling back the bureaucracy BS. Then they propose and vote for more governmental intrusion into your life. Heck, if you're going to vote like a Democrat, you might as well call yourself one and get it over with. Stop trying to fool everyone. You know, we had Bush in office. Yeah, killing people in drone attacks. Good deal. Trampling people's rights in the name of security. Great. I have no problem with that. But let Obama get into office and do the exact same things. Now all of a sudden the world is ending. You see, if my guy's breaking the law, if my guy's killing people without trials, murdering innocent people who, well, you just happen to be in the area of a drone attack, too bad. So sad. Oh, well, that's how these things are. As long as it's my guy, I'm okay with that. Murdering isn't murder if I agree with the person doing it. Just ask the Nazis. They'll tell you. They'll set you straight. You see, conservatives and liberals both believe in government control of shared misery among the population. Not among the so-called leaders, of course. Now, when it comes to suffering, they're more than happy to let you take the brunt of all of that. The good thing about libertarianism and free markets is I don't have to suffer for your incompetence. If you are incompetent at your job, if you don't run your business well, then you are the one to suffer, not me. And that's how it should be. I shouldn't have to pay for your problems. Just because you have hard times, that doesn't mean you can lay claim to my money. That you can say, take $20 a week from Patrick and give it to me. In libertarianism, if you don't want to take responsibility for your life, if you don't want to try and earn a living, well, I don't care either way because it doesn't affect me. I don't have to give money to support you because you decide you don't want to work, that you don't want to show up for a job every day. Even if you fall on hard times, you lose your job, you're hurt, and truly cannot work, it still isn't my responsibility to take care of you. But I'm made to by the government under the threat of violence. If I don't pay my taxes to support you, the government will show up at my door and people with guns will make me pay so you can have the money. Now, I'm not saying morally you shouldn't. Private charities are the best thing since sliced bread. They're much more efficient than government, and you should take care of the unfortunate among you. But it's not a requirement. So does all this sound like fairness to you? This is what's happening, whether you want to think about it or not. It used to be in this country, you had people, they were returning from war without limbs. People crippled through sickness. None of them would have taken a cent from you. They would rather starve than live off the money from someone else. And that's just if you were willing to give them something. If they knew the money was being confiscated from their neighbors and given to them, they would scream bloody murder. They had pride. They had self-respect. We just don't have that now. If you're taking money from the government, then you're part of the problem. If you're receiving a check from the government, you're just stealing from your neighbors. Can you sleep at night knowing that? Well, of course you can, because you deserve it, right? Hey, I paid into the system. It owes me money. Okay, well, even if I give you that premise, have you gotten back everything you put in plus interest? Well, if so, now, again, you're stealing from other citizens, plain and simple. No other way to put it. I've talked with people receiving government benefits, and a lot of these people can just about tell you the exact date they exceeded the amount they contributed. They know when they are in the plus column, and they laugh about it, are proud to be getting money over and above what they put in. Oh, well, someone has to take it, right? Why not you? I guess it helps if you don't have those nagging principles of honesty and hard work, huh? Some people in this audience will say I'm being too harsh. And to them, I say, welcome to reality. You'll enjoy it here if you give it a chance. It's much better than living in fantasy land, where we'll never run out of money, and screwing over your fellow citizens is encouraged. Heck, it's even celebrated. This is one of the key differences about libertarians, about original American principles. Another difference between conservatives and libertarians is, to kind of pick on them still, conservatives want you to maximize your potential, do the best you can. Well, libertarians want the same thing. The difference is conservatives want you to do it in a way they see as acceptable and moral, while libertarians don't care what you're doing. They don't see it as their business as long as you aren't infringing on someone else's rights. Let's say you built a big business and you're successful, you give back to your community, you donate a lot of money to charities. Hey, the conservatives say, great, that's fantastic. That is, until you mention that you're gay and you want to marry the same-sex person you've been living with for the last 5 years. Now, all of a sudden, you aren't that great of a person. You're accused of trying to undermine the country, what supposedly made this country great. Which, by the way, it isn't morality that made this country great. It's freedom. But back to my point. Everything was fine until this model of success mentioned gay marriage. Now the conservatives are going to have a problem with you. The libertarians don't care. Why? Well, because what you do in your personal life, what two consenting adults do, is none of my business. Government should not be involved at all. If you aren't infringing on my natural human rights, then what you are doing is not hurting me. So I don't care. If you want to look at it another way, liberals want tyranny as long as they're in charge of it. And conservatives want that same tyranny, just a milder form of it. And oh yeah, they want to be in charge of it too. They get a kick out of running your life just like the liberals do. The libertarians say if you're an adult, you can determine right and wrong for yourself as long as you aren't imposing your morals on another, nor are you trampling someone else's rights. It's a pretty simple way to live. But about half the people in America want government in their lives because it pays them to do so. They are taking money in some sort of aid. The government is encouraging more of this behavior, and we have to take up the slack. I have a story right here from the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, I've got time to get to it. A proposal in President Obama's budget for next year, it would increase the number of borrowers eligible for a program known casually as income-based repayment. Now, this program aims to help low-income workers stay current on federal student debt. So I won't mention her name, but a 30-year-old mother of three who graduated from Southwestern Law School in Los Angeles in December, she owes more than $300,000 in federal loans, and she plans to take advantage of the current program. As she says, without it, my debt would be unmanageable. And, of course, she didn't give any thought to this the whole time she was running up the debt. But she racked up the debt by spreading her degree over 4.5 years from the normal 3 and taking out student loans to cover living expenses, which the government allows. Now, during her study, she had to take out more money for medical costs, and her home needed repairs, and the government allows her to spend that student aid money on that. And she's applying for government jobs now that she's graduated that pay about $55,000 a year. Now, according to the repayment calculator, she would pay about $273 per month. And outside the program, she'd have to spend $3,500 a month. And under the program, she'd pay about $102,000 over 10 years. And the government would forgive about $639,000, which includes the interest owed. So we, the taxpayers, have to eat over $500,000 of debt. $500,000. And this is just one example of this problem. One instance of us having to pay off someone else's debt. You know, I didn't tell her to go to school. I didn't tear up her house so she'd have to spend money on home repairs. I didn't cause her to have unexpected medical expenses. But you and I and all the other taxpayers of this country are forced to pick up this bill to forgive her for over $500,000 in debt. Does that sound fair to you? No, that it does not. We are up on the last break here on the Patrick Green Show. When we return, it'll be a short segment, but we'll hit as much as we can, drugs, war, and we'll probably start with Benghazi, though, when we come back.